Hey guys, Abby here. Today I'm going to show you my flak build. This is based on the crit build that is out there that you've seen on YouTube. I originally saw this on Admiral Baru's channel, talking about it before the game even came out. Decided that that was what I wanted to try. I've made some tweaks to it, and I wanted to show you guys my skill points. So let's start off in the green tree. This is his stalker tree. We are going to be using fadeaway. And now this is basically what the entire build is built around, is fadeaway and critical hit damage. Okay, we're stacking as much critical hit damage as we can, which is why we use this fadeaway, which is when he cloaks, he turns invisible, he can fire 3 shots while cloaked, and each shot is automatically a critical hit. Now, because of some of the other buffs and perks and skill tree stuff that we've got going on in the rest of here, it's not just limited to 3 shots. Okay, it's basically every single shot while you're in your fadeaway, which is amazing. Also, while you're cloaked, you get increased movement speed and health regen, which is super nice. The next one that we're going to go into is Furious Attack. This is a hunter skill. After shooting an enemy, Flak gains a stack of Furious Attack. For each stack of Furious Attack, Flak's handling and gun damage are increased. Stacks decay after a few seconds. So this is just going to give you gun damage and handling, which is always a plus. The next one is Overclocked. We're going to do 5 out of 5 in this one. You gain increased fire rate. Increased fire rate is always good. More fire rate equals more damage. It's pretty much that simple. Then I also went into this one, which is a kill skill. Whenever Flak kills an enemy, action skill cooldown time is reduced. You want your action skill fadeaway up as much as humanly possible, because that is where your insane DPS is going to be coming from, where you're going to be getting all those critical hits. So it's really nice to get this up and ready as soon as possible. Whenever Flak's pet kills an enemy, action skill cooldown is reduced even more, and attack commands cooldown is refreshed. So you get different cooldown times there, reductions to cooldown time for if you kill something or if your pet kills something. Now at higher levels, my pet doesn't really kill that much stuff. He's it's a little lackluster in higher levels in like Mayhem 3, to be honest with you guys, but he does pick up some of the scraps sometimes with his rocket launcher, and we'll go over that skill in a moment. Our first action skill augment is going to be this one, Gorillas in the Mist. Fadeaway no longer ends after Flak attacks, and at the cost of critical hit damage and fadeaway duration being reduced. Now, this seems like it would be bad because you're reducing the fadeaway time and you're reducing your critical hit damage, but it no longer ends after you attack, so therefore it's going to last the full duration, and you're going to be able to crit hit that entire duration. So the overall DPS net gain is better than not choosing this. Then we're going to go down to Turn, Tail, and Run. While moving, you constantly regen health and gain damage reduction. While still, Flak gains gun damage and fire rate. So when you're still just like shooting a boss, you're going to gain gun damage, and that's 16.7% is what I've got right now. I only put 2 out of 3 in this just to get all the way down to our Capstone and reserve our points for another tree. But the next one that we're going to look at here is Hidden Machine. When an enemy has no target or is attacking a different target, Flak deals increased damage against them. And now you could put less into this skill in particular if you are running solo, but in co-op with a group, it's super nice because a lot of times the enemies are not targeting me. And there's also a skill that we're going to get into later in the hunter tree where enemies don't target you as much, so that goes well with this skill. And the current effect is 30%. Now, I used to have a class mod that increased this skill, which I think is really nice as well. So if you find that, keep a lookout for that. You can get it up to 42%, maybe even a little bit higher if you found a +4 in this skill. I haven't found one of those yet. And then we're going to go over to the Fast and the Furious. This one is while above half health, Flak's gun damage and movement speed are increased. So as long as you are above half health, so you're like kind of staying out of it, you're going to be doing more gun damage and your movement speed is going to be increased. The gun damage is by 25%, which is really awesome as well. And then we're going to go into the capstone for the stalker tree, and this is the power inside. Flak and Flak's pet gain increased damage when Flak activates an action skill. If Flak is at full health, the increased damage is doubled. So whenever you activate your fade away, if you do so at full health, your increased damage is doubled. Okay, so you're always going to be getting that plus 25% whenever you activate your fade away, which also gives you insane damage because it's all critical hits. But you're going to get an increase in 50% increase in damage if you do it at full health. So try, when you're playing this build, you want to try to activate your action skill while you're at full health. Obviously that doesn't always happen, but that's the ideal. And then our second skill augment is Unblinking Eye. Successive hits on the same target increase Flak's critical damage per hit. Unblinking Eye resets every 3 hits. So the more hits you get on the same enemy, successive hits, you're going to increase your critical damage. So that's a no-brainer that's going to go on this crit damage build, right? This is the pet that I use, the gunslinger Jabbar, and he has an SMG. Flak gains increased movement speed and critical hit damage. So there's the crit hit damage. When you issue an attack command, the gunslinger equips a rocket launcher to attack the target. I find that I don't use this on cooldown. I use it when I think about it on bigger targets, because usually myself and my team are melting stuff quicker than my Jabbar can get his rocket launcher out and attack them. But it's nice to have just as an option, but all we really care about is the critical hit damage. So we're gonna go into the orange tree next, the hunter tree. This is the second tree that you guys are gonna wanna go down. The first skill that we're gonna get on here is Interplanetary Stalker. Whenever Flak kills an enemy, they gain a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. For each stack, they gain a bonus to all damage dealt. Additionally, they gain a unique stacking bonus depending on the type of enemy killed. Each unique bonus can stack up to 3 times. Each stack decays after a short time. So you're going to be getting 14% damage, increased damage per stack. Okay, so whenever you kill an enemy, you're going to be getting a 14% damage stack. And then you're going to be getting a unique bonus based on what type of enemies you are attacking. So if it's a robot, you get plus 10.5% corrosive damage. Humans get 21% action skill damage per stack. Beast bonus is plus 11% movement speed per stack. And that's a pretty good little just base damage you get for killing stuff. It adds up. The next one that we're going to go into is Leave No Trace. This is another passive ability. When you score a critical hit, there's a chance for 1 ammo to be added to their magazine. The chance to add ammo is at 36% now. I found some class mods with an increase for this skill, which would be really nice. You can get this up a lot higher, and you can have a chance for ammo to be added straight to your magazine. You don't need to reload, so this is basically a free bullet, as if you didn't spend it. My class mod also has 1 into here, so that's a nice bonus, and you definitely can build out with using more points into this skill as well, because you just gain bonuses when you're fighting different types of enemies. But I did not go into that. My class mod just puts 1 point into it. So this is the next one that I went into. This is head count. Whenever Flak scores a critical hit, there is a chance their action skill cooldown is reduced. So you want your action skill to be up as much as possible and utilize it for your DPS against bigger targets like badasses and bosses. The current cooldown time reduction chance is 30%. The cooldown time is -2 seconds. So whenever I score a critical hit, there's a 30% chance that my action skill cooldown will be reduced by 2 seconds. And I'm hitting a lot of critical hits. The next one is Two Fang. This one says Flak has a chance to fire an extra projectile per shot. So this is kind of like a bonus projectile. Yes, please. I feel like this is a really good one to have 5 out of 5. You've got a plus 25% extra projectile chance Also, you can find class mods that will buff this skill as well, which is also a really good one to have. I was using one for a while, but then I found one where the perks were better. So use your best judgment on what class mods. And the next one we're going to go into is the big game. Now I only put 2 points into this. I am getting 1 point from my class mod. Flak's hunter skills become much more effective and have longer duration. So your hunter skills, basically, this is a hunter skill, this is a hunter kill skill, and so different perks on your skill tree are going to be hunter skills, so basically kill skills and things like that. This skill gives you a longer duration on those hunter skills. So my current effect is a plus 100% skill duration and plus 30% skill effects. So it's going to improve the effect of the hunter skill, and it's going to improve double the duration basically. So we've got 2 points into that plus 1 point from my class mod, making it a 3 out of 3. You can also get more, you can get a class mod that has more added points to this one as well. The next skill is the most dangerous game. This is a hunter kill skill. So again, doubled, duration is doubled and effects are increased by 30%. Whenever Flak kills a badass or stronger, they gain an increased critical hit damage, gun damage, and handling for a long time, and you receive a cash reward. So that's always a bonus. But think about Mayhem 3. If you guys have played any of the higher Mayhem levels, you know that there are a lot of badasses. There are a lot of badasses, Goliath, Anointed, Zealot, you know, badasses, rocket launching, sons of bitches, you know, all that stuff. And so it's pretty easy to get a kill on a badass or stronger enemy, and you're gonna get an increase in 25% gun damage increase, 10% critical hit damage, 33% handling, and it lasts for 2 minutes. It lasts for 2 whole minutes, which is insane. The last skill that we're gonna unlock here in the hunter tree is Galactic Shadow. This is another passive ability. Flak deals increased critical hit damage and enemies are less likely to attack them. This is a no-brainer. You definitely 100% want this. Increase critical hit damage by 15% and enemies are less likely to attack you, and it's only costs 1 point. All right, the last tree that we're going to go into with our last point is the master tree. This is kind of like the pet tree, the blue tree, and we're going to choose Persistence Hunter. This is another passive ability. I decided to put 1 point into this. That's it, 1 point. It increases Flak's gun damage and action skill duration. So again, we're focusing on our action skill, our fadeaway action skill, doing the most critical hit damage we can. And so I thought that this was a pretty good skill. Now, you might be able to find a class mod with bonuses to this skill. I have yet to find one. If you do, let me know in the comments below if you found a class mod with bonuses to Persistence Hunter, because I feel like this would be really nice to get the max action skill duration. I've noticed that even with 1 point, it gives me 4% damage, which isn't a ton, but it's a nice little bump, and the action skill duration lasts 15% longer. I've noticed with that 15%, it allows me to get another reload off. It allows me to target different enemies. It is better for, you know, just ad killing. If you're just mob killing as you're running through stuff, it's a lot better for that type of thing. So I prefer it. It gives me a little bit longer on my action skill and allows me to pump in a little bit more DPS. And then I'll just show you guys a quick run through of my current class mod. This is the Collector Cosmic Stalker. I chose this one because it's got all hunter skills in it. It's got Vladoff weapon reload speed, which I'm using a couple Vladoff weapons. It's got cryo resistance and grenade radius. Now, there are definitely better ones out there, but I also chose this one because it says Flak's hunt skill power is increased by 25%. I'm not entirely sure what that means because I feel like it doesn't change the tooltips in my skill trees at all, and so I'm kind of confused as to what that does. I'm assuming that it means any of your hunter skills, like this one, like where you gain stacks of furious attack doing more gun damage handling, that this is more effective, is 25% more effective, meaning your gun damage is more per stack, and or you can have more stacks. So I'm a little confused on what increased skill power means. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to figure this out. The fact that it's not showing in the tooltip is a little confusing to me. But I chose this one because it gives me increases to this orange tree, especially interplanetary stalker. This is giving me more stacks of damage and more action skill damage, movement speed, corrosive damage, depending on which enemy I am attacking. So that's my class mod. And I've got a couple other nice ones in here. I was using this one for a long time, like I said before. The green skill there, where you get more damage against enemies that are not targeting you or are targeting somebody else. I got that up to 7.5. That was super nice. And also the killing a badass gives you increases as well. This mod is actually really nice because this one gives you weapon magazine size and weapon reload speed, and then it gives you points into big game, which is your hunter skills become much more effective and have longer duration, which is nice. The most dangerous game, where you kill the badass, like I said, that's super nice. 33% gun damage, that's crazy. And then this can get up to 42%. So that's a really nice purple one to find if you find it. I'm looking for another purple class mod that has 2 perks in it, like this one, even a legendary one that has the 2 perks that I want. And I found a purple class mod that had +4. So instead of 2, 2, 1, like in this one on the right here, it had 4 and 1. So that's what I'm really looking for. I think those are going to be the most important class mods to find. But until then, we've got this one and this one have kind of been the ones I've been swapping out and trying out to see if I like. I really absolutely love this build. If you guys want to check out any of the gameplay from this build, please go over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/abbyhour. I'm playing on this build just about every single day over there at night in the evening hours, Eastern time. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm probably going to be streaming a lot more. I streamed on Monday as well. So go over there and check it out. You can see this build in action. Leave a comment down below on what character you guys are playing, what your skill tree loadout looks like what are you focusing on? Do you think that crit damage is the best? Because the answer is yes. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.